Hey Gearheads, and welcome to Garage Talk. I'm Corey and that is the 2023 Kia Niro EV. And in this video, I'm going to tell you why you may want to shop this over the big brother Kia EV6. Stay tuned. This Niro is the Wave model, which is the top trim of the EV version of Kia Niro. And what's interesting about the Kia Niro is they have three different versions. So you can get a hybrid, a plug-in hybrid, and then this fully electric model, which means popping the hood up here, there is no engine underneath the hood. So this is built like a traditional gas-powered car, because of those two gas-powered versions that are options, but this electric model takes full advantage of not having an ICE motor under the hood and gives you traditional Kia EV6 under hood storage here. So Kia has never really given us a frunk or front trunk, but you get the same amount of storage that you would in the front of a Kia EV6 here in the Kia Niro, and they do brand it Q Eco Technology. So making the most of this ICE-powered platform converted to all EV use. We close the hood and take a look at the updated styling for the 2023 Kia Niro. One of the things I like about this versus the EV6 is it is not over-the-top, in-your-face EV, because you can get this in both a hybrid and a plug-in hybrid version. So this is more of a traditional car-like styling. Up front, you do get a faux grille, both up top and down below. There is a little actual functional cooling to help that 68-ish kilowatt hour battery underneath the vehicle. So helps keep that cool, and does, you know, since we're up here talking about the hood and power, does generate 201 horsepower. So this is not the slow, sluggish EV that you would expect it to be, even though it is the entry-level EV from the Kia brand. I really like these LED headlights and LED turn signals. Kia has been doing interesting stuff with their lights for a while now. So this cool little, I've heard it called mustache, handlebar mustache on the sides of the front of the Niro, I almost called it an EV6, are really upscale looking. And then you do get LED front fog lights up here. Interesting placement for the charge port up here. So this does support DC fast charging up to 100 kilowatts per hour, and will charge it about 100 miles in 30 minutes. So it is nowhere near as quick as the EV6's 10 to 80% in 18-minute fast charging, but this will get the job done if need be. And with that, we will talk a little bit more on the numbers and the power side of things. So I already mentioned 64.8 kilowatt hour battery. It will charge at 100 kilowatt hours with DC fast charging, which will take you up 100 miles of range in about 30 minutes. It has a total estimated range of 253 miles. With the 201 horsepower of this, they are estimating about a 7.1 second 0 to 60, and this one stickers at 46,490. So very top trim, and we'll get more into the interior here in a bit, for less than the starting price of a Kia EV6. Moving around to the side, you get some cool, funky new styling. I really like the silver blade back here on the back. Calls to mind the Audi R8. So Kia, Hyundai, Genesis, they have all been doing some pretty daring stuff lately with their designs and have been copied by other automakers. We've seen even Mercedes stealing some design elements from Hyundai and Kia and Genesis products. But very interesting to see an Audi type design here on a small, inexpensive electric vehicle. So really like that feature. We'll talk more about it here in just a second, but I wanted to talk about the tires. So we get some Kumho Solus tires. These are pretty much the same thing that you would find on Hyundai Elantra or Kia Forte, just not the GT model. These are 215/55 R17s. So they are fuel efficient. They are meant to cut through and cut down on drag and really help add electric range to this vehicle, or not take away from it, I should say. And then you get these very aerodynamic wheels that, again, don't take away from your electric range all that much. This does have regenerative braking, but we'll get more into that on our quick drive. This does have Kia's proximity key. So you can see here, it's the old style key, it's the detonator style key, but it does have smart park, remote start, a whole bunch of fun features. But because it is a proximity key, you can just put your hand on the back here to unlock it. There's a little indentation right here is how you lock it. I've currently got the vehicle on to show you the headlights and things like that. So I can't show you all of the features of how that works, but talking about this blade back here, not only is it an interesting styling element, but if you'll look right here, there's actually a pass-through we can see out to the back of the vehicle. So again, allowing better airflow on a vehicle that is meant to be very aerodynamic and cut through the wind. Moving back here to the back, you can see there's a lot of styling very similar of the front up there. So the lights here kind of mimic the headlights, that handlebar mustache look back here. And then you get the new 2023 and up font that Kia is using on all of their vehicles, to mention the name, and the new Kia logo. There's been a lot of talk about the KN logo, or I think it looks like 9-inch nails. You open up the rear hatch and you actually get a very decent sized rear hatch back here. Interestingly enough, there's a big drop down here. There is no false load floor that you can drop down and make lower, so you will be lifting up and over the back bumper of this vehicle, but it does give you a little bit of extra room back here. And you can see we do have 60/40 split bench rear seats, but unfortunately you have to get into the vehicle from the side to fold those down. So you can see now that is folded down. Again, because of the drop down here, it is not a completely flat load floor. So those are some of the sacrifices you make going with the cheaper Niro versus going with the bigger Kia EV6. But this is a power lift gate, and it does have Kia's smart key. So if you had the vehicle locked and your hands full and you came walking up to the back of your Niro and needed to get in, you would just stand there for a little bit. It would beep a couple times at you to let you know what it's planning on doing, and then it would open up for you. I really do like that feature. But hopping inside, getting out of all the noise from out there, you'll see an environment that is very familiar to Kia EV6 owners and really modern Kia owners. I'm thinking Sportage and the like here. So you get twin 10.25-inch digital gauges and infotainment screen here. You get the steering wheel straight out of the Kia EV6. I mean, this is the Kia EV6 steering wheel, so there's nothing different about that there. You get the rotary dial from the EV6 and also the Kia Sportage that we've tested both of here on the channel. So very interesting there, but you can see an interesting look to the gauge cluster, a little more Casio digital clock look to the gauge readout here. You get a few buttons over here, your brightness controls, your rear hatch, and your traction control. Over here on the door, you do have 2-person memory seats. Your window controls, automatic up down for the front, but not for the rear. Window lockout button, very nice there. All your controls up here for accessing all the information on the screen here, your cruise control, stuff like that. And this one does even come with a rather decent head-up display. So really like that you can get a head-up display here on a $47,000 car. You can see here you've got Kia's infotainment system, pretty quick and snappy. Nothing really to complain about here. If you've been in a modern Kia, you know exactly about that. This does take from the Kia EV6 and again the Kia Sportage the dual element controls here. So these two knobs and all the buttons in between will either work on your climate controls or on your infotainment controls and your entertainment controls, depending on how you have it currently configured. You can see this area right here does not change no matter what you do, but there's climate and there's infotainment. So now this is my volume and power knob, whereas now this is my climate knob. This is for my driver temperature right here. So just something to know. I assume you would get used to that very quickly. And again, you can control the infotainment stuff from your steering wheel and just leave this on climate controls. But just interesting if you want to go turn the music up and you end up making it really hot on you, or if you're really hot and you try and turn the air conditioning on full blast and then you get no music. I don't know. Just an interesting choice. You do get USB-C for charging, USB-A up here, and a 12-volt cigarette-style lighter up here. You do get a Qi wireless charging pad underneath. Very interesting, very nice right there. Moving down, you get your vehicle start button right there. I already mentioned the rotary dial. This model does have heated and ventilated seats, as well as a heated steering wheel, so I really like that very much. And an electronic parking brake. Moving back, you do get a couple of cup holders that will allow for more room. You just had to push a button and deploy the actual cup holder part of it. No traditional center console here, so you just get kind of more open space with this removable panel here, and then a little bit of covered space back there. This doesn't adjust or move in any way, so it's kind of set in place. The dash up here is an interesting material. It's not soft, but it's not hard either. And it's got a nice texture. And then you've got piano black plastic up here. Nobody's really going to be touching and leaving fingerprints, so you don't have to worry about that too much. But just an interesting look to the front design here. And again, with the sweeping lines that we saw over here on the driver's door for all the panel for all the controls. These seats, the headrests, very much mimic the Kia EV6. You get this bag holder on the back. I'm sure that's what that is for, but I'm sure customers will figure out what they want to use that for. These are the Syntex synthetic leather seats. I mentioned they are heated and ventilated. Lower trims do get a cloth Syntex combo, but these are the full Syntex, so you just get a little different design here in the middle. This seat is, like I said, a power and two-person memory seat with an entry and exit function on it. So if you get in it for the first time, the seat, at least the way we have it currently set, is all the way back, and then you start the vehicle up and it moves into place. But I'm sitting about where I would be at 5'10". Let's see what the back seat is like moving behind myself. So you can see, and yes, it's beeping on me because I left it running, but here we are in the back seat of the Kia Niro. I've got plenty of headroom. In fact, there's a big cutout here because my model does have, I did not mention this earlier, but a traditional sunroof up front, but nice cutout back here in the back for me. And then looking at my leg room, knee room, I've got plenty of room back behind these hard plastic seats, hard plastic little mat pockets down here. And in traditional Kia fashion, you do get USB-C in this one, USB-C ports on the backs of the seats for rear seat passengers. So pretty nice back seat back here. You do get window controls, but again, not express up or down. And then looking at the center armrest, does have just a traditional center armrest fold down with two cup holders. I already showed you the 60-40 split bench nature of this rear seat, but I can tell you from sitting back here, it's fairly comfortable. It's got a nice level of squish to it. The seat back is not too upright, so it's not just incredibly uncomfortable back here, but you can see it's a little on the small side. It is a compact crossover hatchback, if you were. So it is about what you would expect on an electric vehicle in this price range. And because it is an electric vehicle, we do have a flat load floor. Last thing I want to call attention to, you do get rear air vents back here in the back seat. No controls back here, but you can point these where you want them. They are on the back of the center console, not on the B-pillar or anything like that. But that's enough of a tour of what this vehicle is like. Why don't we hop behind the wheel for just a quick spin to see what that 201 horsepower is really like. Setting off is as simple as turning the dial. It's just what you get in new vehicles nowadays. This, again, being an electric vehicle, has a continuous single speed transmission. So you just get in it and go, which is one of the best things about electric vehicles. You don't have to worry about transmission shift points or if it's going to stutter on you when you want to take off and go. You just get in it and go, and it drives very well. I mentioned earlier this has an estimated 253 total range on a full electric, and makes for a good commuter vehicle. Should be more than you ever need, but with 201 horsepower, oh, it'll squeal the tires. It'll get going. Fun little car. And it'll move down the road just as you would need it to. So 7.1 estimated seconds 0 to 60. I'd say that's about accurate. It's on par with the newest and sexy Prius that Toyota has released. So being that this is all electric, you don't even have to burn dyno juice to get Prius level performance. And the sticker has 113 mpge if you get into that kind of stuff. The ride in here is actually very quiet for an economy vehicle, and not a lot of road noise, not a lot of wind noise. It's quite a pleasant experience. And since there's no engine, there's no engine noise either. Very quiet and comfortable. Due to that 64.8 kilowatt hour battery, it does have a low center of gravity and rides like a much bigger car than it actually is. On smooth surfaces here, it is very well suited and very composed. So nothing just extraordinary to write home about, but definitely rides like a more expensive car than it actually is, and a bigger car than it actually is. If you want to get out and pass somebody, you've got all that instant power right at the jab of your right foot, and makes for commuting very simple and easy. This does have Hyundai Kia Genesis's Highway Drive Assist 2, so if you get out on the highway and set your cruise control to the posted speed limit and the posted speed limit changes, well, so will the speed of your Kia Niro. So I really like that as well. It's a nice feature. It does have lane keeping and all the driver assistance tech you would expect from a modern vehicle. I think that Kia, if they wanted to, if their lawyers would allow them, are the closest to having a full self-driving car that don't currently offer a full self-driving car. I think they are very close with what they have and what they've been putting out for years in their vehicles. They are very, very good at what they do with driver assistance tech, and I give them a big thumbs up. As we come to a stop up here, this does have regenerative braking. Paddles on the backs of the steering wheel allow you to adjust that regenerative braking so that you can add power back when you're stopped or slowing down. Makes for, again, a really good commuting vehicle. And again, those Kumho tires get punished by that 201 horsepower and undisclosed amount of torque. I'll do a little bit of research. If I find it, I'll put it on the screen. But it does a pretty good job of just giving you a smile, putting a smile on your face. Makes for a great commuter car. And again, loaded at 46, basically 47,000. This is a pretty good vehicle in its own right. You would have to check and see if it's available for any EV credits where you live. But that's about it for my short time here with this Kia Niro EV. Huge thanks to Pelche Kia here in Tyler, Texas for loaning me this vehicle for review. If you are interested in a new Kia and are in the East Texas area, hit them up. I will put a link to their website down in the description below. And a huge thanks to them for even letting me get behind the wheel of this rather rare vehicle down here in East Texas. If you want to see more of what we are driving before it is uploaded here, be sure and follow us on all social media channels: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. I think I got them all in there, all at GT Garage Talk, or you can just head on over to gtgaragetalk.com where you'll find links to everything. Be sure, hit the subscribe, follow button, ring the bell, hit all the buttons so that you keep up with us whenever we post a new video. And until next time, gearheads, bye. I think that's in my shot. So this EV, let's do a UE, see what it does. Just over 2 lanes, not bad, not bad. That regenerative braking sound is no joke. Those poor Kumho tires.